Hello once again, Internet. Me, Carmen, come right back at you with my dad. Say hello, wonderful people, Dad.
Hello.
We're walking through Yorktown. This is near the National Park Service building. We're going to walk down a couple of trails, look around at a few things, and I figured this would be a good time to reflect on going down the path less traveled. And this is a nice area to do it in. It's an interesting day out today. It's pretty warm out, and it almost looks like it's about to storm, but we'll see what happens. Right now I'm on a walking trail. There's going to be a bridge across here. There's the monument over there, Yorktown Monument to the Revolutionary War. And this will take us straight to that. This is a sort of nice pathway. It's sort of off to the side, but not really. But you'd be surprised how many people don't really even realize this is here. A lot of people just go down to the beach. There's like a very touristy area around there. It's really been like modernized and whatnot over the past couple of years. This is sort of a more interesting part of Yorktown. This is more sort of I feel like it's more tranquil. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you.
More tranquil, more peaceful. I feel like it's sort of a path less traveled, even though it's weird because these are some of the official like Park Service trails and whatnot. But people tend not to come down here so much. As you can see, it's a nice Sunday afternoon, and there's pretty much no one here. I mean, there's people near the park center, and I'm sure the beach will be crowded. Like, it was crowded. I drove through it earlier, but there's pretty much no one around here. This is the walking bridge. This will take us. There's a little dip. I'll show you. There's a sitting area right here, and across from there is the monument. If you look down here, it sort of dips down. That's the bridge right there. There's a trail that goes through there. I think you have to pay the Park Service fee to go down that. I'm not sure, but it's pretty interesting. You can see people walking down there. This is the footbridge. I'll walk across it. It's sort of nice looking, and it's sort of an interesting sort of scenery. And that's where we just came from. You can see where it dips right through there. And hey, Dad.
Hey.
That's my dad. And you can see it's pretty much just woods right through here. It's a pretty interesting part. There's I think the battlefields are in that direction, but you can't see them through all the growth. Got my camera on me. Oh, there's the monument too. We're walking across the trail right now. You can see Gloucester right across there, Gloucester County, and the York River is right through that bend right over there. And man, these clouds are coming in quick. Some bamboo. Isn't the bamboo like brought in? Wasn't it like imported at some point?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's original growth. I could be wrong, but it's like, I'm trying to think of the name of the other plant. The Asian growth you see like on the side of a lot of highways or whatever.
Kudzu?
Yeah, kudzu. I think it's sort of like that, but I could be wrong. If you guys know anything about that, be sure to leave a comment below. I don't know.
They're both very invasive species.
Yeah, they'll like pretty much invade somewhere and they come in, you see there's like none the one day, and the next day it's like multiplying, practically like barely takes any time at all, and before you know it, you have a whole forest full of kudzu and bamboo or whatnot. And bamboo, once you plant it, it really grows really very quickly, so you can go from having barely any to having a ton of it. And there's the monument over there. I just drove down here, I think. Well, no, I didn't drive down this street to get down there, but I was near here. Do you know how to pronounce that road name?
No, I don't.
The name of the road I can't pronounce. I'll show you guys the corner. Zeebruggen. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but this is the corner of Zeebruggen and Main Street in Yorktown. The Victory Monument. This monument was authorized by Continental Congress October 29th, 1781, just after news of surrender reached Philadelphia. Actual construction began 100 years later and was completed in 1884. The original figure of Liberty atop the Victory shaft was severely damaged by lightning. A new work replaced it in 1956. Behind me is the Yorktown Victory Monument in honor of the surrender at Cornwallis's Cave in Yorktown during the Revolutionary War in 1781. The actual monument, as the sign said back there, wasn't actually constructed until about 100 years afterwards. but the top part they had to reconstruct. So this is obviously like not all original, but they've had to restore it at certain points. It's a pretty interesting monument. It towers up through the sky. You can see it if you're crossing the bridge kind of in Gloucester, but it's hard to see. Barely anyone here. There's a couple of people around here though. I find it interesting to sort of go down the roads less traveled. And as you guys may know from my videos, I'm not really an average person. I have all sorts of interests. My interests are all over the place. Sometimes I'm in a really comedic mood. Sometimes I'm all about history. My interests can range from a treasure trove of things and stuff. Those are very eloquent words of me. But I find it interesting to go down the roads less traveled. I often find myself when I'm driving or riding around or whatever, I'll just take a turn down the road and see where it goes. A lot of people don't really like to do that, but I feel like it's sort of interesting to see what you may find in places you may not otherwise think to go. And I think that's what's sort of interesting about exploring and adventuring. There's so many things that we forget about just because they're tucked away somewhere. And sometimes it takes just one person looking for them to find them. And I think that's very interesting to be able to do. Just like, and there's no really reason not to. Like, even if you're just walking around and you don't have a car or whatever, there's still plenty of places to explore, and there's no reason not to like go out and just try to find things once in a while. But everyone's different. That's just what I really have an interest in doing. I really enjoy finding new interesting things, finding out about the world around me, because and really finding all these landmarks can really change you, and you'd be surprised at how, not landmarks, just like places, and you'd really be surprised at how much you gain from what you may find, even the stuff that's unlabeled or undocumented or whatever. Sometimes that's the most interesting finds, I feel like. And these things can leave an impression on you. And I don't know, I just find that sort of interesting. And also, I don't know about anyone else, but whenever I'm visiting places, I often get sort of a vibe from where I'm visiting. Like, you can just feel like the history or whatever radiating off of you. And that's one of the most satisfying things about seeing a new place. Feeling like this feeling of history of what was here, what's happening here, what it is now. And I feel like that's really what's the most satisfying about it. You can see the bridge, the Coleman Bridge right through there that connects York County and Gloucester County, Virginia. You can look through here. Some parking over there, and historic Yorktown Main Street. Most of the buildings on the Main Street are actually original. A lot of stuff down at the beach isn't original because they tore a lot of it down and reconstructed it. That's down Water Street. Continuing on down the street, it's the sign I read earlier. No vehicular traffic on sidewalk. So guys, you better make sure if you're driving like a motorcycle or a car, you better not be driving down the sidewalk. You gotta stay on the road, you know. Can't have none of that going on. Street closed to motor traffic. That's alright. This is at the corner of Main Street and Comte de Grasse. Apologize if I'm butchering the pronunciations. I'll just give you all a second to soak in the surroundings for those of you who haven't been through here before. I'm sure a lot of my viewers probably haven't been through Yorktown. I mean, people from around this area, yeah. But I mean, understandably, no, my viewers who aren't from here probably haven't been through here. Good old Yorktown, Virginia. Oh, there's a black cat down there. You can see the beach right through that dip right there. That's Water Street down there. If you walk down there. I'm not going to walk down there right now. On the corner of Main Street and Nelson Street. This is the Nelson House. I've actually been inside here before. It's really an interesting place when you walk through here. You get sort of an interesting vibe. The Nelson House. I'm not going to go in there today. But I might have to do that in another video if you guys want to see it. If I do a more in-depth video going through here, it's just sort of a nonchalant type deal. Nelson House, circa 1730. This is the pathway to the Nelson House. I think the moss and the growth on this brick is sort of interesting, the colors and all the shades of the trees. It sort of all goes together well. It blends in real nice. Sort of an orderly disorder. I have one more place I'm interested in showing you guys. I'm going to walk down here. This is Church Street. As you can tell, it's a dead-end street. If you walk down there, there's the historic Grace Episcopal Church. And it's just sort of an interesting walk, so I figured I'd show you guys. As you can tell, this street's a little more trafficked because you're allowed to park on the side, I think. Yeah, I think it's 2-hour parking, and there's a parking lot over there. Partly because the church is here, and as you can tell, a lot of beachgoers are also parking here because there's not much parking by the beach itself. And then you have the main Grace Church building right here. At some point, I think in the 1700s, right after the Revolutionary War, this church burned down. Of course, it was originally constructed as one of the original churches of England in 1697. Oh wait, no. Yeah, 1697. The parish itself was established in 1634. This is the Grace Episcopal Church itself. I think the building's been constructed or reconstructed and restored a couple of different times. But it's sort of an interesting church building. As you can see on the sign, well, it might be hard to see, it says erected 1697, burned 1814, partially rebuilt 1825, and then rebuilt finally again in 1926. A national shrine at the cradle of the Republic, right there. Colonial Grace Church. Well, I'm not sure if that name's original, the colonial part. York-hampton Parish. These are the original walls built of marl. The bell was cast in London in 1725, broken during the fire of 1814, recast in Philadelphia 1882. The original hammered communion silver made in London 1649 still in use. I'm not sure if it still is now. This sign is from 1936. First confirmation service in Virginia was held in this church in 1791. General Thomas Nelson Jr., signer of the Declaration of Independence, lies buried in a churchyard. I didn't actually know that. Pretty interesting. You learn something new every day, right? One more site to show you. I find graveyards sort of interesting. And I feel like graveyards have sort of a morbid beauty to them in how they're architected. They always feel like sort of peaceful places because it's sort of like a place of final resting after passing. You bury someone in a graveyard. I feel like it's sort of a very peaceful place, even though, like, of course, there's obviously lots of feelings of conflict here and sadness because people have lost their loved ones. But at the same time, there's sort of another sense of peacefulness here, too. A lot of graveyards are haunted, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. It's beyond my perception.
Beyond your perception?
The ESP.
What's the ESP?
Extrasensory perception.
I'll just walk through here real quick. I don't want to walk through here too long. But I've always found the graveyards sort of like interesting sites to look at and explore. Sometimes some gravestones have quite a bit of information about people. And I'd recommend, if you guys have any time, maybe go to a local church and stroll through a graveyard. I know that sounds like a weird recommendation, just stroll through a graveyard. But it's sort of interesting what you'll find. Especially if you're at a really old church like this, where there's a lot of people buried from a long, long time ago. You'll find some interesting things. James Malcolm O'Hara, I apologize if I butchered the name, citizen of Yorktown, Virginia, World War II veteran, born November 24th, 1920, died July 14th, 2006, beloved husband of Sarah Finch Moore for 64 years. And then you see her gravestone. Sarah Finch Moore, born October 20th, 1918, Norfolk, Virginia. Married James Malcolm O'Hara of Yorktown, Virginia on February 14th, 1942. A loyal, devoted wife, mother, and grandmother for 67 years. Died October 11th, 2009 in the historic village she came to love and call home. So it's interesting. These people must have lived in like the actual historic village of Yorktown. It's pretty cool. Wilton C. Roosevelt, September 4th, 1846 to March 19th, 1930. And Phoebe B. Roosevelt, August 1st, 1846 to December 19th, 1930. I'll give one last look of the graveyard and looking below. You can see a little playground, probably for a church. And there's the road running through there. I think that's Reed Street, right beyond that playground. This growth is sort of interesting. I think this is sort of like kudzu, right here on the side, growing all around. But I don't think this is just kudzu.
That's not kudzu.
Yeah, I didn't think. But I think this growth on the side is like kudzu, sort of, but not exactly. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on going through Yorktown, Virginia, looking at the roads less traveled and the landmarks I hit up. Be sure to leave a comment below. I might do some more videos like this in the future, so also leave a comment if there's any suggestions in the general Hampton roads, or even in Virginia, places you might want me to go that have been less sort of explored. And I'm curious to hear your feedback on this video as well. So I'm looking forward to reading all of those comments. Thanks for watching, you guys. By the way, if you guys like this video, you guys might want to check out my Instagram feed. I'm always posting shots from my adventures and explorations there. There'll be a link down in the description. My Instagram username is Carmen Shields. And you might also want to check out my Flickr feed. Again, there'll be a link in the description. On both of those, I post interesting, unique shots from where I'm going. My Instagram feed is more of sort of in the moment, while my Flickr feed is like sort of reflecting afterwards. Most of the shots from my Instagram feed are on my iPhone, and most of the shots from my Flickr feed are shots I've taken with my actual camera. Links to both of those, once again, are in the description for all of you to check out. Just wanted to add that little footnote. Hope all of you are having a good one, and once again, peace out.